but short jam. We also have Candy Striper out there, and Candy Striper was the only Australian official at the World Cup. That's pretty darn amazing. And
Great to have that level of experience here as a development tournament to get some
exactly,
feedback to our newer officials.
exactly. We have there is there is a lot of representation, and I think it just shows that from little things, big things grow. So we have Evie with the staff for Witches and Miss GK for Team Regional Victoria.
Really
And it's
stuck
a,
near the jam start line.
oh yeah,
Must go anywhere.
the packs are so tight. They're like almost like they're meshed together in some ways.
A little bit of separation now and some clearer vision. The two triangles just working really hard to keep those jammers clear. Bit of offense from the team, trying to get out this GK. Not successful yet.
Ooh. And they are pushing so hard. And in the end, after a big struggle, it was nearly a minute to get lead and to get past turn one.
It's been unusual for the games this weekend, so looks like we could have some pretty evenly matched teams here.
So, and
What a sneaky star pass on the outside.
and what people may not realize is Team TRV. They are a team that is a combination of many teams. We have rural clubs all over Victoria who may not be able to actually field a full team. So they join together and skate under Team TRV. So these players rarely get to train with each other.
So and fall off by the Witches, but not quite in time to prevent TRV from scoring. TRV also picked up 4 points following an excellent star pass.
So, yes, so we all right, so
Timeout.
an official timeout could be track repairs. You'll find out. You'll see that we'll have running track repairs over the day, just taping down the tape so that we don't get stuck.
At this point, I think I'm just clarifying us, ensuring that the Witches get all their points from our referee.
And we have the lovely May fixing the track there for us. And May is another skater who skated at the World Cup, skating on Team API Fury, which was Asian Pacific Islands. All right, so we have Strawberry Short Skate and Steve. These packs are amazing.
I think that was Nat just clearing the inside line for our jam. Skate has got lead. On a power jam, which is there's that one jam on track to score points, but the other jam is sitting at penalty in the penalty box.
So it's a power jam with lead, which is always good.
We've got another skater off to the penalty box just as Steve turns to the track and is in a hurry to get back to his pockets. It's 4 more points for these two.
Oh, well, I'm a bit sad now.
Not about Eastwick, I'm hoping.
No, Bulgaria won Eurovision. So Delta didn't take it.
So close, but it's okay.
Oh.
Meanwhile, on track, we have Steve pushing up against the last blocker.
And Ra is giving
one blocking.
Ra is doing such a good job of holding.
Out of play call has been given. skaters are more than 20 feet from them, they have to stop blocking.
And we have short skate being recycled back into the back of the pack. Yes, I must admit, I've been following. I'm not a big Eurovision fan. I will tell you that. However, because Delta was in it, I thought, I watched a bit this morning, and then I thought there will be people here that will be wanting to know. And yeah, so sadly Delta didn't take it out, but there is always next time. All right, so we have Evie and Macatron lining up with their stars and jamming for their respective teams. The blocking in this game is just phenomenal.
Out crusher. It's like get out to the outside there.
And Evie's having to recycle back. This blocking by TRV is amazing. And they're holding their players up, they're holding the opposition up so well. So, and before my friend Muggles tells me off, I need to let people know that in-game...
Oh, the Star Pass. It's almost fixed on Star Pass, however. I did end up off the track and had to recycle to the rear. So restarted.
With the mad splatter now with the stars. In game 2 today, there's some official workshops for those who are into all the officially things. And one is about calling pack. And the second one will be secrets of scorekeeping and scoreboard operating. So if you've ever wanted to learn a little bit more about those two things, you go up to the officials table just before at the start of game 2. There will be people taking you through those information sessions.
Fantastic.
So what do we have happening here? Okay, so
Mad Sputter has been
recycled back
20 feet behind the pack. I still do it.
And Edie has gotten lead and pulled that jam off,
collecting 12 points on the way. So current score, which is 39, TRV doesn't really reflect how the game has looked a lot closer to that.
Exactly. Like the game, and 35 points in Derby is nothing, really, because 2 minutes in Derby is like a lifetime. And TR there are holding their opposition back a lot. And we have pins and needles being recycled back to the back of April O'Wheel. I love April O'Wheel's name, and because they've got the Ninja Turtle helmet.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Hey, I'm a kid of the 80s. I know April O'Neil was the Ninja Turtles friend.
Which has gathered 4 points, and that is bringing to the back of the rear.
And it's very interesting because they reformed, and instead of being like a triangle, they had 2 groups of 2, which really shut them down.
Sometimes that can have to throw it in, get caught out of it. It's got to block the best you can with the number of skaters you've got.
And the rumour is pushing so hard.
Reynolds has taken the star off, and best vision of what's happening on the inside there. Star pass has been completed.
And April, that was a big hit to April. And April O'Neil will be So we've got a bit of a blocker advantage to Team TRV at the moment. As
However,
East,
not able to take advantage of it because the skater was on the way to the bin but has been invited back out of the bin. So there's some kind of miscommunication has occurred.
but we still have two East Peak in the bin.
Track.
Okay, and we have an official team timeout happening.
Might be a time to review where we are at with penalties. So
It's been a fairly clear game. And we only have three.
And only 3 penalties for TRV.
So it's been a clean game so far.
They've been behaving themselves pretty well.
Oh,
Staying out of the penalty box.
There are other and also as the day goes on, you will see that we do have some people with stalls here today. We have So Neurodivergent, which will be here in a little while. We have Crossroads Media. We also have raffles at the front entrance for Kingston City Rollers. And we also have our visibility inclusion flags back on the wall. So feel free to take a photo in front of the flags and tag your friends and family and let them know that you are supporting Ida Hobbit Day.
Getting towards the end of the timeout period, the skaters are preparing to go into jam 6.
And we've only really just gone over 10 minutes in this first half. So we've still got smidge under 20 seconds, smidge under 20 minutes left. Oh, okay. And Macatron has just blown out and taken advantage of having the witches in the box and obtained lead, which is when you have lead, it's like the power. It really is an advantage. And Macatron has just picked up 4 points. Oh, and then got a forearm penalty, which means that this jam will actually go the full 2 minutes because going to the penalty box means that Macatron has lost the ability to call it off. And that was a forearm. So there's a couple of forearms going around.
One of the most difficult things to learn as a roller derby skater.
Oh,
how to avoid getting a forearms.
Exactly.
Sometimes people wish they could just get rid of them.
Oh, yeah. So I must admit, years and years and years ago, I was on a derby trip in New South Wales with Kingston City Rollers, and one of the Sydney teams had a player who actually only had one complete arm, so like they were below elbow, and they were phenomenal. But it was like, how do you?
Is that a disadvantage, an advantage?
We don't know. We don't know, but they were.
Work with what you got.
They were amazing, but they were an amazing skater too. All right.
Collected
So when we get when we have the next
have star pass
because we've got some
ups.
track. Right, so
Collecting bits of tape to ensure the track remains clear.
Jambian tape is renowned because we often have either the tape not sticking well because it's hot or it's cold and it sticks too well. But then we also have it lifting.
Thank you to our track maintenance.
Oh, yes.
And our hosts for it just requires continual monitoring.
Exactly. And I mean, this track it's been well used this weekend because not only did we have our 5 games here yesterday, VRDL, which is the Victorian Roller Derby League, had it from 7 o'clock last night because they're training for the Oceania Regional Finals for the Woofta World Cup. and the regional finals are going to be held here at the end of June. So they've come down the Princess Highway to have a bit of a hit out on the track that will be
Such
qualifying. Yeah,
to be familiar with the track, because roller derby can be very different depending on the surface.
exactly. Every surface is different.
Lead for witches.
With Honeybee jamming for TRV.
Great explosive speed up the outside by the river, lifting 4 points.
Yeah. So
we still get Honeybee on the initial pass.
and it seems to be today turn 2 is the slippery spot. Yesterday it was turn 1. But there is every surface that we skate on is different. And it might sound like, oh, well, you just roll with it. Oh, pun intended. However, it impacts things like wheel selection on whether you're on harder or softer wheels. So having that hit out will really be advantageous for VRDL. All right, so we have a rumour, and we have Honeybee has collected 4 points.
The pack is spread out, and it's proved to be a little easier work for the Germans to get through. Tripods are having trouble getting together.
And there's a lot of one-on-one blocking happening. That was a 20-point jam for Witches, and TRV picked up 8.
Taking the score to Witches 91, TRV 20.
Which, when you think that TRV, they played, they were in the 5 o'clock game. So they didn't finish playing till, 6:30 last night, and they've backed up this close to have another hit out. So, it's physically a lot on a person's body to do multiple games, especially over a weekend. I know, and that's the exciting thing.
So we have a team timeout being called by the Witches. Gives the teams time to take a break, collect themselves, and communicate whatever they need to do.
Exactly. And we're almost halftime in this first half.
Maybe have a dance-off.
Well, yeah. I must admit, the Witches are very known for having bench dancers from time to time. It's a good way of staying warm. And we also...
And it is quite a lot cooler here at the stadium today than it was yesterday.
Yes, I'm thinking maybe at halftime I might go and get my blanket. I've got a blanket in the back of the car. May end up going and getting that.
A little bit of extra layering required.
Definitely a change in the weather from yesterday.
The timeout being over, we're nearly ready for Jam 8.
All right, so I believe we have Mactron. Could be wrong, and Eve. I could be wrong though. Oh, how was that? Macatron and Evie.
Given that we can't see the numbers, if it hasn't been put on the scoreboard, we are having to just go by skater recognition.
Exactly, and that's another reason why I love April O'Well, because the Ninja Turtle helmet, I always know where they are on track. So we have between turns 1 and 2, some very tight packs. And then Whitey hit. Both jammers have been taken out by big hits.
On both sides of the track.
And having to recycle.
So still don't have a lead jammer as to get into the jam. So the blockers are doing exceptionally.
And Macatron took their blocker all the way down and got lead in a very hard-fought lead.
They only have very short gap with Evie on the tail.
So That was 4 points apiece in that jam. And one thing in Derby, what you'll find is, although TRV had leads, sometimes the win is knowing when not to push for points. Because this was such an even jam. It was 4 points apiece. And that's more reflective of the game that we're watching, not scoreline. All right, so we have Shawbury Short Skate and Miss GK jamming in this particular jam. And in this case, the Strawberry Short Skate managed to find that small pathway through. And then there was a star pass.
GK
Has
taken the star off and passed it.
to Venus Thigh Trap.
This side trap, we are re-entering from rear. Hat spread out, which is more difficult for the blockers to stop the jam.
I must admit, Team TRV have been really good with the star passes. And for those of you who don't know what a star pass is, as you are aware, we have jammers with a star on their head. You'll also notice out on the track someone with a stripe. And that stripe designates a player called the pivot. And what happens is if the jammer, for whatever reason, can't get through, etc., they can pass the star to their pivot, and then the pivot becomes a jammer. So
sometimes that works really well, and other times it can be not as successful. New jammer now living the other name of the country was. They won't be there much longer. They're standing. So they've got less than 10 seconds to go. They return to the track. Meanwhile, the Strawberry Skate
is being held up by an amazing pack.
12 points so far in this jam.
But this triangle from East Vic
and the jams ended with 4 more points being added to each team's score for a total of 16, which was the 4 points collected in that jam.
Linda's doing the coffee warm up. we need our coffee and our, warm things to keep us nice and awake. All right, so we have Evie for Witches and Honeybee for Team TRV. And Evie was able to find that pathway through.
Honeybee's only got 1 block at a beat. Has done it.
And
completed their initial.
Tenacious B almost ended with a squishy finger.
And strategic call off, collect the 4 points, the jam off while you're in front.
As someone was saying yesterday, score and call. Score and call, fall and call. They were the two, main things that we were having yesterday.
You've got to conserve your energy.
Oh.
4 points in front with 4-0. It's just as effective as being 4 points in front 16-12. So you might as well
exactly
this advantage for the least amount of effort.
All right. So we have the Ruma, who has obtained lead, going up against Pins and Needles.
Needles attempted to tiptoe up the inside, but the blockers from Eastwick had the line well covered.
So, as I was mentioning, we're here for 5 games today, and our next game after this one will be a very interesting game because it's our modified contact game. And Statewide Stampede is very unique in that we try and run a ModCon game most rounds, like 95% of the rounds, and that gives our players a chance to get game track experience.
The star pass, and the star has been returned to
Pins and Needles,
who has now completed their initial pass.
Yes. So with ModCon, as skaters progress through learning their skills and abilities, um, you can practice scenarios in training, and but nothing beats getting out on track. And so, by having the mod con round, our up and coming skaters are getting regular games with some of the rules slightly changed. And we have strawberry shortcake, strawberry short skate, and Miss GK jamming. Yesterday, one of our teams had about 3 or 4 debuting skaters who have all come up through ModCon and now are at full bouting. So, yeah.
Bit of a wonderful flavour to the blocking PRV on this stage. Dragonfly, it's really finally found their number. Is the team early? The mad spot up.
Okay, so we have a multiplayer. Oh,
Meanwhile, Star Pass had Venice sidetrack.
on Nicholas Rage.
Star.
And Strawberry Short Skate has just come up against a wall of Team TRV, who are very solid in their blocking.
Pound Crusher, Dragonfly, and Mad Sputter really holding up Strawberry Short Skate at the end of the jam.
Alrighty. And with just under 7 minutes left of this first half, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you weren't here yesterday, we do have access here at Leisuretime Sports to their canteen, and they have warm, cold, and hot things, as well as coffee. But also, those of you who come to derby tournaments will know that we normally have unisex bathrooms. However, because we are sharing the venue with other hirers, we've been unable to label bathrooms as such. All right, so we have Honeybee and the Rumour jamming.
Rumour has gained lead and collected some points very rapidly. Initial pass completed, thought about it, and tapped loose. They called it off, and we now have a review request from the bench coach of TRV. They've done the symbol where you hold the balloons in an O shape. That indicates that they will be requesting a decision to be reviewed by the officials. They will be asking perhaps a penalty to be applied or in some way. So we will await the outcome of that.
And we have the amazing Hawkeye taking some wonderful shots. We're very lucky in that we have both Hawkeye and Brett from Crossroads Media, and they both take wonderful shots of us. And while my friend Zarantula finds out what's happening with the official review, I'll just talk about some of our people here today. Hawkeye has been a photographer around Derby for very many years, and last year compiled an amazing coffee table book, which was The Faces of Roller Derby, with some incredible photos of skaters from all over the country. And then this year he's doing a more creative photo essay as such of not every photo in the derby, but things that pique the interest and looking at it from different perspectives. And we also have, and his company is RXA Photography. We also have Brett from Crossroads Media, and Brett has recently returned from being over at the Men's Roller Derby Cup in Orleans with his sister Crush, who skated for Team Schmear campaign. Out here today, we have Slender Jam was on the Wizards of Oz. We have Candy, who was our sole Australian official. We also We have Bonnie benching Team TRV, who was the statistician for the Wizards of Oz or Team Australia. Over at the World Cup, we have May doing track repairs, and May skated for API Fury, which another player from Geelong, who's not here as yet, played as well. So we had Beasting and May both on API Fury, which was Asian Pacific Islands. So, and then we had our Wizards of Oz. Now, my friend Rachel is coming back to me and is going to tell me what's going on.
Righties. I just ducked into the middle to get the report on whether the review has been upheld or not. There was a request to apply a backlog to one of the East Vic skaters. The referees had a chat about it and decided that the original decision of no call stands. So TRV did lose they will not return.
Okay. So with an official review, basically both teams get one each half, and that's an opportunity to say, hey, I don't think that call was right, or you missed a call. However, if you call for a review and you're unsuccessful, you lose it. But in saying that, Team TRV and yeah,
Track in front of you. And we suddenly have two very strong right in front of our commentators. We get a little bit of offense.
and doing some big hits out of the track.
Cut track to pins and needles.
Oh,
They are skating as quickly as they can to the penalty box because the studio is down. The studio 30 seconds.
and that'll be
Starts.
so. That means that this jam will go for the full 2 minutes because as pins and needles had to leave and now gone to the bin, they can't pull off the jam.
And that was some excellent work from teamwork from TRV with our skater 41T teaching their teammate across the track to send the jammer off the track. Really nicely done.
Both teams have incredible packs at the moment when it comes to blocking.
So Pins and Needles returned to the track and he's just picked up another penalty with the same jam and is back for 30 more seconds in the penalty box. So that's really allowing the Witches to extend their lead. They've collected 12 points already this jam, and here comes another 4. For a total of 16 points for the jam, taking the Witches to 155 versus TRV 34 points. So 3 points were collected in between trips to the penalty box. And this now means that we'll have the same jammer lining up again for the next jam for TRV because they finished the jam sitting in the penalty box. We have a power jam start to Strawberry Short skate.
And so we have Strawberry Short skate. And now Pins and Needles is back on track. And we're down and leapt out for lead. So that was pretty amazing in that it is. So for those of you playing along with us and who were interested, in Eurovision, Delta finished 4th. All right, so we have the triangle for East Vic holding up Pins and Needles and taking Pins and Needles to both sides of the track. I think because the packs are so tight as well, there's not a lot of room. And we've just had pins and needles recycled to the back. And we've had a multiplayer block. So far this jam has been a 12-point jam for Team TRV, with witches on 8. So April, yeah. Yes, yeah. Which can be very. So we have Evie and Venus Thigh Trap. I love derby names. And that was some amazing blocking there from Miss GK, taking the jammer all the way to the edge. Alrighty. And both packs are just giving it their all when it comes to and a lot of the teams here over the weekend, hey, they're playing their hardest and their best, of course, but they're also kind of sussing out other teams ahead of next month and the Great Southern Slam in Adelaide, which is held every second year on the King's birthday weekend, as well as, and it is a national and international tournament. It's the largest in the Southern Hemisphere, and most of the teams here today have representation there. So it is. So we've got two very strong triangles holding their respective blockers, holding their respective jammers. And this is the last jam of the period as the time clock has run out. So once this jam is over, we will have a 15-minute intermission and then we'll come back and do it all again. All righty, so we are in halftime. So with TRV, they're more spread out.
No more than 2 penalties per any different TRV there. So an excellent half with the halftime score being Witches 174 TRV. We'll be back with you in a little under 15 minutes.
fears. I just drop a nine, month to month, still from year to year. New watch, no diamonds, new watch, good timing, yeah. New watch, no diamonds, new watch, good timing, yeah. I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich. Do it again, again, again. I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich. Do it again, again, again. Get some checks, I invest, then I spend a check. Spend a check, get it back, then I take a rest. Only race is the human, I take care of my skin. I was doing this as a rookie, now I'm up to vet. Set the trend, set the pace of play. I don't trip, but if I fall, bet I make a way. I take trips in the fall, watch the leaves change. I like to treat every day like it's my D-Day. New watch, no diamonds, new watch, good timing, yeah. New watch, no diamonds, new watch, good timing, yeah. I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich. Do it again, again, again. I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich. Do it again, again, again. Do it again, again, again. Do it again, again, again.
Welcome back. We're nearly at the end of half time. The score being is 174 TRV. And just reading our shout outs online. Total Frog says, "Go Witches, tell never ending Rory to wave to us." Rory, have you got a wave for the fans at home? They are focused on listening to the quotes.
Righty.
Don't think the messages got through. But yes, if you've got any more shout outs online, pop them in the chat and we'll pass your shout outs on to the Derby World and everyone here at the stadium in Norwayne, Geelong.
I was just in the break. I just went and checked out down at our front at the entrance. We have some raffles from Kingston City Rollers. So they have 3 or 4 different prize packs down there. So raffles are always a great way of supporting your local derby teams. And they also have some Kingston City merch. And we haven't had merch at a bout for a while. So it's nice to see them bringing down some merch for us all to sell. We also have Geelong Roller Derby with a merch stall. They were our hosts yesterday. All right, so we're just about to commence play in the second half. We have Macatron and Evie lining up with the stars on their head. All right, and Macatron has successfully obtained lead. We also have So Neurodivergent here with their wonderful shiny sparkly things. And so we have two team witches in the bin.
Strong start from TRV, collecting
4 points. And Macatron's coming up. Some very formidable defence there on that turn 1.
Mayhem.
Oh, and Mayhem, Mama Mayhem does
to the inside.
I was going to say, just gave a, little love nudge into the middle of the track. And Macaron has had to recycle back to the back of the pack. I think our first aiders are thinking these people do this for fun. All right.
4 points collected.
So this
by
will make
Macatron.
12 points this turn.
Whatever the bench coach team did.
Oh, yeah. What was in that snack pack?
it's worked well.
It's kind of why we say 2 minutes in Derby is a lifetime in Derby, because
Perfect timing with the call off 2, preventing any scoring from the Witches.
so not only was that
my jam.
not only was that a
second half.
yeah, amazing. It was amazing jam, but they also kept Witches scoreless. So that was a 15-point jam. So just in the last 2 jams, TRV have really started moving.
Only another 109 points to go, and they'll be 11.
But that's not it. That's not insurmountable.
It's achievable,
That's
but it is a long way to go. Let's see what happens in
a long
jam number 2 of the sextet.
got 27 minutes more, and
Very close call for lead there, with the Witches taking lead by
like escaped. We had that here yesterday, and yeah, literally it was like a skate difference. And it's an extremely fast-moving pack here.
4 points each, and still only a metre between the 2 jammers.
And with a strategic call off,
When it's that close, the chances of you getting more points than your opposing jammer are slim.
Slim.
50-50. So
especially with a fast-moving pack, because I tend to find with a fast-moving pack, the blockers sort of form that really tight wall.
Yeah.
So there usually is more opportunity to find a path through.
Weave through.
Whereas with a slow pack like this,
Jumpers have the advantage of more control.
yeah,
Strawberry short skate grabs leads
and Miss GK.
close behind. It's similar dynamics to the last jam, which had a bit of jam on jammer action. Miss GK bumping paid out, and then getting the first entry into the back. Now both jams being stuck in the triangles. Graphs penalty being issued. TRB and Sputter on the way to the penalty box. So we have one skater from each team in the box. We now have Billy Goat Gruff re-entering the track for East Vic.
And Strawberry Short Skate being recycled to the back of the pack and re-entering game.
So the pack very spread out there, with penalties being issued at the rear and points being scored at the front.
And it's that reason why we have so many officials, both on and off skates, who are able to watch the game and make sure that, you know, we're all playing by the rules. And because different areas of the track, you get different views. So we have 3 outside pack refs, and then we have inside pack refs.
And
And
we
that,
kept busy during that jam, with the resulting score being 12 points to the Witches and 7 points to TRB, taking the score to 190 for the Witches and 6 for TRB.
and it's still very, very evenly paced. Like, we're having the jams in this half, both teams scoring and not a huge differential. So we're going to have,
Kingston.
I think it's, yeah, Honeybee and the Rumor. And
Rumour grabbing lead up the outside.
so we've got both packs really tied up around turn 2.
Star pass has been completed with our pivot. Steve now off the star, but still making their way through the pack. Meanwhile, the Witches have collected another 4 points, taking the total for the jam to 8 points. Steve is making way out the front of the pack, completing the initial pass, and now placing the star on the helmet. Can't score any points if we don't have the star on. And that's the end of the jam, with the Witches collecting 12 points, taking them to 2. TRB, no points during that jam, total of 36.
All right, and we have some more running track repairs being done.
Jam starting with Evie jamming for the Witches and Needles for TRB. And another skater, Honeybee, returning from the penalty box. We now have all 10 skaters on track. TRB, Pins and Needles, has picked up lead. With about half a track behind, Evie has also done a pass.
And it's when you hit that wall of blockers that it all sort of becomes, you know, tricky. Because at the same time, you sort of want to get through as well.
Oh, we've had a
Bit of a spillage there.
on the outside lane. No penalty issued. Oh no, a penalty has been issued.
Ah. So we are now, and we're in a power jam scenario here because Evie, being the jammer, is off the track.
Instructions from the bench to TRB, the blockers, now that they don't have a jammer to worry about, should be helping their jammer to get through. Jam has ended with Evie still sitting in the penalty box, so that
Which
the
will
jam
mean,
will start
yeah, it'll be a power jam start.
with just one jammer for TRB. Nice situation for the jammer to be in. Blockers are free to help you get out rather than having to worry about the opposition blocker, opposition jammer. And we have a timeout as requested by one of the teams. I think it was East.
Yeah, East Vicar and a nice
The team timeout is limited to 1 minute, and at the end of the minute, we'll get that rolling whistle, letting the teams know they only have 30 seconds to get back on the track. So just a brief bit of time for the teams to collect themselves and what they will be doing next week.
So coming up after this game, we will have our mod con game, and with the modified contact, one of the adjustments to the rule is that they have to reduce their speed and power to 50% prior entering the park. And also there is no jammer on jammer pushing and shoving, as we've been seeing in this game. And those modifications are mainly to keep our up-and-coming skaters safe, yet giving them track time, and it gives them a unique gameplay because also they play as a pickup team, so they're working and skating against players that they don't normally work and skate against. So it's a really good training opportunity, which Statewide Stampede has always been a very developmental league. So it's great to give them that opportunity. And we now have game, we're starting with Evie and Miss GK.
GK pushing up the front. Almost because we told them out, they have to stop blocking, and that's allowed Miss GK to grab the lead for Evie who's entering the track. And we can take that advantage of that by adding to the scoreboard. Got a couple of skaters on the floor. They're back on their feet now. So Evie's still completing their initial pass, with Miss GK having collected 4 points and now re-entering the rear.
And this jam was very much Team TRV's advantage at the beginning because there was about 3 witches in the bin.
Penalty box was just empty briefly, but we've now had penalties issued to TRV skaters. I think it was Cow Crusher, and so
No,
now
yes.
we now have
No, Venus Flytrap.
Oh, apologies. And so we now have only 9 skaters on the track.
No.
Some great offense by Nato Ninetails there, allowing Evie to get out from that triangle they had been stuck in at the front. Jam ending with both teams scoring and just awaiting the scores to be dropped in there. TRV collecting 9 points, and the Witches, no, hang on, up, down. No, we're taking
7.
it back to 7 points, and the Witches collecting 4 points. Starting next jam with all skaters on the track and an empty box.
It is always. And we have Honeybee and Strawberry Short Skates.
Honeybee grabs the lead. And 20 seconds behind it, Strawberry Short Skate. Looking hard at that guy. Honeybee have recycled all the way to the rear by Nato 9 Towers, making their way back through, and collecting 4 points. Meanwhile, Strawberry Short Skate stuck in a sticky triangle at the back of the pack. Blockers working really hard there to keep Strawberry Short Skate from getting through. Strawberry Short Skate finally completing their initial pass. Meanwhile, TRV has now got 8 points in the jam. Honeybee coming around ready to bring into the pack for a, I believe, actually 12 points for the jam. So this will be the fourth sprint pass. Instructions from the bench was to pull it off, and so Honey has caught, collecting 15 points on the lap. So just missed that one blocker on that one pass. Meanwhile, the Witches collected 12 points in that jam. Total score now being Witches 222 to TRV 102.
And the space isn't really blowing out that much, which shows that they're very much this half playing an even game.
I don't remember the exact points differential at the start of the half, but it was similar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This half has been much more even.
And we have Evie with a lead, followed closer behind by Mactra. We're just under halfway through this second half.
Instructions are get to the front. Often if the blockers are at the front, if the jammers are very closely the advantage for the blocking team at the front is the jammer takes longer than the.
And John just did an amazing job there, pushing through that pack.
Like 4 points. So this jam we now have 8 TRV, 4 to the Witches.
All right.
Heavy landing on the floor. The front has got up and given their teammate a high five, so I think they're okay.
You'll find that we do have,
Sounded like a heavy landing. There might be some bruising there.
but you know,
That's part of roller derby.
Yeah,
If you're going off your bruises.
if like with the scrim, if with the game, if you don't have at least one good bruise, you know, have you really been playing derby? But I know,
Not that we want to encourage people getting injured.
no.
It is falling over is part of roller derby, and
And it's-
learning to fall safely is.
It is the first thing you learn. Like people say to me, oh, "But I couldn't skate; I'd fall over," and I'm like, "Yeah, but we teach you how to do that." And they look
Falling over is definitely a part of it.
exactly.
So we're
No,
at time out, so let's review the team penalties. So we have 2 skaters on 5 penalties. So I will need to try not to collect any more penalties to avoid our being fouled. We'll have a look at TRV's penalties. Only one skater for TRV's on 5 penalties, and everyone else has 2 less. Skated a big game.
yes. Now I must admit, when I tell people that we get taught how to fall over, I really get annoyed when they turn around and say, "But you don't need to learn how to fall over because it is so true." And but
Oh, this is you personally.
me personally, like my friends say to me, "Need any help in doing that? You do it naturally." It's kind of like, well, yeah, I do, but
Makes roller derby the perfect sport for you.
exactly. But it's like, I injured myself many years ago, and you go to the Daniel Hospital, and there's about 3 leads all that would be taken there for orthopedic stuff, and they say, "Oh, how did you do that?" And you go roller derby, and they don't even bat an eyelid. It's like, oh, yeah, another one. I just think they should start having team color plaster. That would just be really nice. But
Having said that,
having
you
said
could
that,
say that I don't think it's more dangerous than any other contact sport.
no, not when you look at football.
Is there, the
Footy.
rules are in place.
Yeah.
Keep people as safe as possible. We try and skate within those, and I think everyone's doing a pretty good job of that.
Even with things like, I know it's been very topical in the news, concussions, we've always had a really good concussion protocol that if there is a head knock, you have to sit out. It's no ifs, ands, or buts.
5 seconds to Derby. We have a shout out from someone Raven saying "Go Billy." So the fans at home are cheering you on that.
We have Miss GK, who has obtained lead and being chased down by the rumour. And just like that,
0-0 jam. They've called it off, deciding that the chances of them actually getting points were again perhaps reduced. So
and Mac John just
call it
did.
off, start again. And they will be starting this jam with 2 Eastwick witches sitting in the penalty box. So that gives Honeybee players on track advantage, less players to get past. We have only Nano Nine Tails, and I think that might be Billy who has their and Reagan at home. So on track.
So Nicholas Rage as well.
Honeybee really well, given that there's only 2 of them. So all skaters have now rejoined the track, but in the meantime, a multiplayer. The penalty has been issued. 2 skater number 3, Garrido Ruff, who is now sitting in the penalty box. Meanwhile, both jammers have completed their initial pass and now scoring pass.
Oh, that was
Getting in the middle of the triangle to try and break it up and make it easier for Honeybee to get through.
breaking up that pack quite nicely. Now,
And it's worked. Honeybee's collected 4 points.
and a bit of housekeeping, if for those that are in the building, if you are wanting to do some training for officially, we have in the next game someone training cat calls for our on-skates refs. So if you are interested, head to the officials table and they will be able to help you with that.
Strawberry shortcake taps and tapping their hips there. Candy, being an experienced referee, is not falling for it. They won't lead, so they can put off. And sometimes it is easy to extract. You have lead.
And Honeybee was
comes from our actual lead jammer. Honeybee has tapped the hips and called it off.
after being recycled to the back of the pack, just got to see, okay, my other jammer is right there. So we're just over 11 minutes left in this second half of game 1, and it's at around about this time the fatigue is really starting to hit in. And this has been
time out, and we also have Jen helping us with the broadcast things,
Yep.
doing the tricky things that I don't know how to do, and putting a little
From
sport
Australian
in the
Sport-
corner of the screen.
Australian Sports Connection. So we are so thankful for Jen. She comes and sets us all up, and we have some amazing equipment that we get to play with. And now we have a screen and we get all these little buttons. It's really exciting. It's really good because it helps us see things on other areas of the track.
For a fully developmental, not-for-profit sport, to have this sort of level of being able to broadcast to everyone.
Exactly. We're
really incredible. Very lucky.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well. It's
Team timeout is just about to be over, and the skaters are on the track. The box is empty, so we're going to have all 10 skaters on the track to start Jam 11 of the second half. We have our other officials arriving, ready for the next game, which is due to start at 11 a.m.
and you'll find that there'll be players on track. I know Crush is playing later today. And Crush played yesterday and refed multiple games as well. So the level of fitness is incredible for our players. And Megatron just found that small gap. And like that has called the jam off. Because sometimes it's not about scoring. It's about keeping the other team scoreless.
That is almost more important than the actual scoring, isn't it? You can only get ahead if you are scoring more points than your opposition. There's no point in having a 24-point jam if your opposing team also got 24 points.
Exactly.
At a hit. So that is all part of it. Pulling off at 0-0 is sometimes an excellent result. So we have some strong blocking here in our 12th jam. Jam is both stuck near the pivot line.
So we have Evie and Miss GK.
Try and get Evie out of this triangle. And it's now become only 2 with one of our skaters being sent to the bin for a cut track.
Oh, tenacious.
To get lead.
Oh, and Miss GK did amazing then. And it was kind of like two coming from different sides.
A star has come off the helmet.
Because the spatial awareness that our skaters must have is because you're looking at what's in front of you and to the side, but also ensuring that you kind of anticipating what's coming behind.
So although Miss GK has removed this star, they will not be able to complete a star pass because the pivot has been sent to the penalty box. So they are now stuck in the position where the only option is to keep pushing through the pockets. Meanwhile, the Witches are having an excellent with Evie collecting 8 points already and coming around for another scoring pass. We have our pivot Venus thigh trap returning from the penalty box, which might provide some assistance to our TRV jammer, but just in time for the jam to end.
It's been
A
a
little giraffe symbol that you see our white team jammer ref giving indicates that the jammer for TRV did not complete an initial pass for that jam.
It's always a bit of a sad joke. Oh, and we have our two jammers dancing, spitting. And that's one good thing about our sport is the camaraderie between jams and during timeouts and track repairs. So we've got just on 8 minutes left of this second half. And it's been an extremely tight game. And
Least a low wheel. It's making quick work of getting back around the track to score points as soon as possible.
oh, and that was a big hit. That
bounced right back up.
and was recycled way to the back of the pack.
Steve has made a pass. April will following them. Just pulled it off here. A little pop around the apex. Steve has collected 4 points without touching it and other skate, which is a nice way to do it.
Exactly.
TRV are knocking their own teammates over. they've recovered and are reforming a triangle. Edinburgh giving a signal to their jammer.
And Nicholas Rage has returned to track.
Points to TRVs that Steve's collected. One blocker in the penalty box.
For the Witches.
Witches. Two blockers in the penalty box for the Witches. So now might not be the best time to call off the jam because now might like to actually keep skating till your fellow teammates have finished their penalty. It's a very penalty heavy jam. It's getting congested in there. We now have, I've lost count. Is it 4? Is it 5? There's a lot of skaters.
There's a lot of skaters in the
back.
And
So as the jam ends, just waiting for the scores of that final pass to be dropped into the box. And after all that, it looks like it was 12 points, 13 for that jam. And we've finished the jam with 4 skaters in the penalty box. So it'll be
And it's been
extremely only 2 blockers for each team on track. And a timeout has been called.
So, and that's an official timeout. So,
I imagine it might be to do with the number of penalties in that jam and making sure all the paperwork for that is correct.
exactly, because there's a bit of a traffic jam for the Witches in their penalty box in that last jam.
So while the officials are ensuring that everyone has actually reported to the penalty box and been corrected and noted for which penalties they had. We might just bring that up on the screen and see where we're at. There's our Witches is coming up on the screen now. 3 skaters on 5 or more penalties. A couple of skaters having received no penalties. Work there. TRV, only 1 skater with 5 or more penalties. And again, a couple of skaters have received no
And it's vital at this stage. Like, they're taking the time to make sure that all the penalties and the calls and the amount, etc., is all spot on, because we are coming to the end of this second half. And once we get to the final jam, there will be no time to go back and fix errors and things like that. Normally we would have the next jam to sort of go, well, hey, and call. But when it's in the last review, you've only got like seconds to decide whether, oh, hang on, did we do that right? Did we do that wrong? Do we need to call something?
Now 5 seconds, starting jam number 14. Score being Witches 202 to TRV 150.
And we have Pins and Needles and Evie.
And they both got out quite rapidly, which is, I guess, less surprising given that there were less blockers on track and into. They're racing around, closely matched, and telling their skaters to get to the front. As everyone gradually reaches the track from the penalty box, we're now able to have enough skaters to the track to finish triangles.
They're doing some amazing work in holding them up.
Evie being the first one to complete
A scoring pass.
the jam. And now have an empty penalty box, which is great to see.
And the penalty box timers are going, we can breathe. Let's see, you can say why we have that many people in the penalty box, though, to manage multiple. Oh, and we have an official review being called.
Alrighty, I'll mute myself and duck into see what's happening.
No worries. So I believe that this has been called by Team TRV, and we will find out what the call was. As I was explaining in our break between jams, this is another opportunity to make sure things are hunky-dory. So now we have just over 4 minutes left of this second half. Coming up next after this game will be our modified contact game. And then after that will be our hosts, Kingston City Rollers, and they will be taking on Southeast Alliance, fondly called C. And they're a new alliance formed this year between South Sea Roller Derby Krakens, Gippsland Rangers Roller Derby, and Salty Beaches Roller Derby, which is a new team, which is a new league that has started down in Bairnstone, hence the name Salty Beaches. We also will have our raffles for Kingston City Rollers going throughout the day, as well as our merch stores, and our flags are lined up at the end of the track there. Feel free to take a selfie or dozen and show what allyship. Derby is a very, very inclusive sport, and our hosts today, Kingston City Rollers, have done some fantastic work over the years in the Pride in Sports Australia Awards, having taken out first place, I believe, 3 times. And that's due to their whole team ethos. We've also had Corey, who was at Ballarat Roller Derby League and now at South Sea Roller Derby, who was nominated for and a finalist for Coach of the Year in Community Sports. And my colleague here is... All right, so what I heard you say that it was released, because my friend is back now.
Yes, TRV was seeking a cut track on the Eastford Jammer, and the insurance reviewed said that so they did not retain their review. And now we move on with the next jam. We have Rumour obtaining lead.
And Miss GK is jamming for Team TRV.
And 4 points collected by the Rumour. Meanwhile, Miss GK's complete their end of the pass.
Being held up in a very tight pack there.
GK has taken the star off. Very little sneaky backhanded star pass. That was beautifully done. However, the witches were onto it and have still locked down our pivot, who is now holding the star and pushing against the tripod of his feet at the front. And that Colin broke his ready to complete the initiative pass.
And with that, and that's Elma Fudd.
Well, it says Venus Flytrap on our stick.
Yes, it's Venus
So that's what I've been calling. I hope that's correct.
Yeah, yes, no, that would be correct. You actually sometimes find that with Team TRV, they often have a lot of guest skaters, so they will be wearing someone else's jersey.
And our skater 9-1
It's Venus.
formerly known as Alma.
Yes.
Has collected some points. Fantastic job.
All right. So we are
High fives among the team.
we are getting into the nitty gritty of the final 2 minutes of this game.
With
Now-
the score being Witches 288 to TRV 143.
And with this, what will happen is our period clock is still moving. However, if we have a jam that commences at any stage before we hit 0, it continues.
Until the jam is done, rather than
Yeah.
ending when the boxes. Yes. Steve is out to pick up for TRV. Lead. Plenty of cheers and skate stamping the beach, fantastic. So,
A lot of cheers in the audience here.
it being Steve's first year as a Stampede skater, having come up through junior roller derby.
Yeah. And we have fantastic junior roller derby community here in Victoria. Our juniors get a lot of chances, and they actually had the opportunity to play a World Cup at home last year. All right, so we've got lots of players in front of us at the moment, and Steve's been sent to the bin. Oh no, Steve's recycling.
Recycled.
They
They're
tricked
very
me.
cautious, making sure they read into behind everyone.
They tricked me.
Meanwhile, Strawberry Shortcake's collected 4 points, and Steve has called off the jam. And we've had a timeout call. The timeout will freeze the period clock, enabling us to squeeze in one more jam for the game.
Oh, well, look, there's 39 seconds. We could get more than one jam, couldn't we?
Well, potentially, yes. Have to be very, very quick jams. We have our lineup on track, ready to start the next jam. We have an empty penalty box.
And a lot of tired skaters.
But the skaters will doing a lot of other jobs for the day. It's here to support everyone else. Everyone chips in and does the officiating. So we
We have Mick in
appreciate
the mid-
everyone's enthusiasm for the day and all the different hats that everyone will be wearing.
Exactly. We have Mick in the middle who debuted as a batting skater yesterday. But Mick is a fantastic official, commentator, player, always
Starting,
busy.
jam number 17.
All right, so we have Macatron and the Rumor. And the Rumor.
Athlete.
Yep.
Followed only about 20 feet behind tonight. It's also completed an initial pass.
That was a solid ball that the Rumor ran into. With some one-on-one blocking there.
Yeah, they're getting just a little bit of offensive help from T.
There's all right.
3 sets of 4 whistles to end the jam. The score will be held the unofficial score, and we'll just have to wait for everything to be confirmed. But it looks like our final score is going to be Witches 302, TRV 151.
That was an amazing. Although it's a big score difference, it was an amazing game to watch. And
That was a lot of fun.
having watched Team TRV over the years, I reckon this is one of the best games that I've seen them play defensively. Like their packs were so tight.
Strong blocking from both.
Yeah,
teams.
it was
jamming.
it was an incredible game from both of our
Just
teams.
with that rolling whistle, we still have our jam referees just verifying the finals scores and making sure everything's correct with the score tracking officials sitting at the bench scoreboard.
And the witches are going smile as they take photo.
And it's always hard work when you're the bench coaching staff. You feel very short if you don't have skates on.
Oh.
So,
And we've had the rolling whistle. All right. Well, Angela, I have to say goodbye to you.
thanks, Sparks. It's been fun.
I get to stay and watch the next one. So, but yeah, no, it has
We'll
been
go
fun.
put some other hats on to cheer and officiate and do all the other things.
Yeah, well, I'm calling the next game and then the final game of the day. So it's good. I think it's the best view anyway. So I'm very lucky.
So if you'd like to give our skaters a high five, please gather around the edge of the track, as you can see some people doing.
Yep.
The skaters, part of the one of the fun parts of the day is the skaters getting to high five all of the supporters around the edge of the track.
And
And
yeah,
meanwhile, we have our hosts busily repairing the track in preparation for the next game, which is due to start at 11 o'clock.
So not that far away, 20 minutes. All righty. Well, we'll talk soon.
We'll bid you farewell for now.
All right. Over and out.
Strange stuff, you think I'm loco? It's just a poncho. Heads are turning one by